Look up. Look at the moon. We have been there. We have walked on its surface. We have driven cars on it. We have mapped every single inch of it in high resolution. We have mapped Mars. We have sent robots to Titan. We have listened to the winds of Venus. But now, look down. Look at our own ocean. It covers 70% of our planet. It is the lifeblood of Earth. And yet, we have explored less than 5% of it. Think about that. 95% of the living space on Earth is a total mystery to us. We have better maps of the surface of Mars than we do of our own ocean floor. Why? Why do we look up at the stars for aliens when there is an alien world right here beneath our feet? Is it because we don't care? No, it is because we are afraid. Or maybe it is because we are not welcome down there. Space is hard. Space is cold. Space is a vacuum. But the ocean? The ocean is a monster. It is dark. It is crushing. And it is alive. Welcome to Mind Odyssey. Today, we are going to dive deep. We are going past the sunlight, past the twilight, into the midnight zone. We are going to find out why exploring the ocean is harder than exploring space, and we are going to ask the terrifying question, what is hiding in the 95% we haven't seen yet? Let's start with the physics. Why is it easier to send a man to the moon than to the bottom of the Marianas Trench? The answer is pressure. In space, the pressure is zero. It is a vacuum. To survive in space, you just need a container that keeps your air inside. It is like an inflated balloon. The pressure inside is 1 atmosphere. The pressure outside is 0. The difference is only 1. It is easy to engineer. But underwater, it is the exact opposite. Every 10 meters you go down, the pressure increases by 1 atmosphere. By the time you reach the bottom of the Marianas Trench, the pressure is over 1,000 atmospheres. Try to visualize that. Imagine an elephant, a full-grown African elephant. Now imagine that elephant standing on a single postage stamp. Now, imagine that stamp is your thumb. That is the pressure at the bottom of the ocean. If your submarine has a crack, even a hairline crack, you don't just leak, you implode. The water rushes in faster than the speed of sound. The air inside the sub heats up to the temperature of the sun for a split second. You are incinerated and crushed into a ball of meat and metal instantly, before your brain even realizes you are dead. Space tries to suck the air out of you. The ocean tries to crush you into a diamond. That is why we have had 12 people walk on the moon, but only 4 people have ever been to the deepest point of the ocean. It is easier to leave the planet than to go to the bottom of it. But pressure is not the only problem. The other problem is light. In space, we can see forever. We can use telescopes to see galaxies billions of light years away. Light travels freely through a vacuum, but water blocks light. Sunlight can only penetrate about 200 meters down. That is the epipelagic zone. Below that, it is the twilight zone. And below 1,000 meters, it is the midnight zone, eternal darkness. You cannot see your hand in front of your face. We cannot use telescopes. We cannot use cameras. We cannot use radar. Radio waves do not travel through water. GPS does not work underwater. Wi-Fi does not work underwater. When we send a robot down there, it is like exploring a massive dark room with a tiny flashlight. We can only see 10 feet in front of us. Imagine trying to map the entire continent of North America at night, using only a pen light. That is why we have mapped so little. We are stumbling around in the dark. And the scary part? We are not alone in the dark. In this eternal darkness, life has found a way. But it is not life as we know it. It is alien. Since there is no sunlight, there are no plants. There is no photosynthesis. So, animals create their own light, bioluminescence. 76% of deep-sea creatures glow in the dark. They use light to hunt, to hide, to communicate. Imagine the anglerfish, a nightmare creature with massive teeth. It hangs a glowing light in front of its mouth. In the total darkness, little fish see the light. They think it is food. They swim towards it, and snap. Darkness returns. Evolution down there has gone down a different path. We see fish with transparent heads. We see squid with eyes the size of dinner plates. We see worms that live near volcanic vents, surviving in boiling water. NASA studies the deep ocean, not to learn about Earth, but to learn about space. Because the conditions down there are so extreme. They mimic the conditions on Europa or Enceladus. If life can exist at the bottom of our ocean, it can exist anywhere in the universe. The aliens we are looking for, they might be swimming in our own basement. But there is something else down there, something that triggers a primal fear in all of us: size. There is a biological phenomenon called deep sea gigantism. For some reason, things down there get big, really big. On land, an isopod is a tiny bug, like a pill bug. In the deep ocean, they grow to the size of a cat. Spider crabs have legs that span 12 feet. And then, there is the squid. For centuries, sailors told stories of the Kraken, giant monsters that pulled ships down. Science laughed at them. Science said, those are myths. Until 2004. That was the first time we ever took a photo of a live giant squid. It was massive. It was real. We realized that the Kraken is not a myth. It is an animal. The colossal squid can grow to the size of a school bus. It has hooks on its tentacles. It fights sperm whales. We have seen the scars on whales, but we have rarely seen the fights, because they happen in the dark. If we missed a school bus-sized squid for 2,000 years, what else did we miss? What else is swimming in the 95% we haven't seen? The megalodon, ancient reptiles, or something we don't even have a name for yet? We cannot see much down there, but we can listen. The ocean is noisy. Sound travels 4 times faster in water than in air. During the Cold War, the US Navy set up underwater microphones to track Soviet submarines, but they heard things that were not submarines. In 1997, researchers recorded a sound. It was loud, it was incredibly low frequency, and it was organic. It didn't sound like a machine. It didn't sound like a rock slide. It sounded like an animal. They called it the Bloop. Here is the problem. The sound was heard by sensors 3,000 miles apart. For a biological creature to make a sound that loud, it would have to be massive, much bigger than a blue whale, much bigger than anything we have ever seen in the fossil record. Scientists later said it was probably an ice quake, ice cracking in Antarctica, and that is the official explanation. Probably. But then there was Julia, another massive sound. It sounded like a creature howling, and the train, a sound that sounds like a massive engine. The ocean is full of these unidentified acoustic phenomena, voices in the dark, screaming from the deep. Are they shifting ice, or are they breathing? Why does this scare us so much? Why is the abyss such a terrifying concept? Psychologists call it thalassophobia, the fear of deep bodies of water. It is not just a fear of water, it is a fear of the unknown. When you look at space, you feel small, but you feel safe. The stars are far away, but the ocean touches our shores. It is right there. And we know, deep down in our DNA, that we do not belong there. We are land animals. We are slow in water. We cannot breathe. We cannot see. We are helpless. When you dangle your feet off a boat, you are dangling them into a food chain where you are not the top predator. You are bait. The dark forest theory says we shouldn't contact aliens because they might be hostile. But maybe The hostile intelligence isn't up there. Maybe it has been down here the whole time, waiting, watching, in the silence. We spend billions of dollars trying to leave Earth. We want to colonize Mars. We want to find Earth 2.0. But maybe we should look at our own planet first. We think we know Earth, but we really only know the skin of the apple. We don't know the flesh. There are mountains down there higher than Everest, canyons deeper than the Grand Canyon, lakes inside the ocean, waterfalls underwater. It is a world of monsters and magic, and it is right here. So the next time you look at the ocean, don't just look at the waves. Think about what lies beneath. Think about the pressure, the darkness, the silence. The final frontier is not space. The final frontier is the deep. This is Mind Odyssey. If you are brave enough to dive with us, subscribe. And tell me in the comments, what do you think is down there? Is it just rocks and ice? Or is something sleeping? I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to breathe.